And we're live. What's up?
Live stream.
Uh, what's up?
Like to say my phrase every single one of the streams. I'd like to say, "Oh, I got myself a split."
Anyways, let's see.
Popular culture.
Yeah, there's a lot of There's a lot of movies and shows.
20th Century Frog.
Yeah,
Parody?
That's
Parody too.
That's a parody and also a ripoff.
J. Arthur Link, Tantamount, Cloristroll, Lord Grey.
We got some logo spoofs today. What the?
Yeah.
NBC.
Kermit. Peacock. What deal?
Funny. This is funny. Huh. Oh, it's this one.
This is the Merv Griffin logo. This is the Columbia logo. And the following is
got
this
myself a
company's.
strike.
What is TriStar?
TriStar is correct, yes.
Oh, it's the 20th century.
20th Century Vole.
Yeah.
BBC One in color.
BBC One. Femmes.
That's actually called as Thames Television.
That looks like Rank Organization. It's a parody.
It also reminds me of Lumiton logo for 1930s in Argentina.
From B Pictures.
Columbia Pictures kind of
Universal.
sounds like Columbia Pictures music.
Universal.
Looks like Universal, right?
Yeah, Universal, but the sounds kind of sounds similar to Columbia
Yeah.
Pictures. You got PBS and NBC, and then
What the?
do I hear?
BND.
PID.
Dude, I remember this variant a lot of times. It just smiles, or it just gets me smiling every time. Once I see that spoof or the parody.
Cinematography presents
And some pictures.
That's a ripoff.
No, parody.
Actually, it's parody. Look,
Roman
Jason
59
Blood.
accidentally added it into the list of logo ripoffs episode. What the? Oh yeah, it's a parody. But still,
This is Mad TV Children's.
dude, this
Family
looks like Family Home Entertainment from
Yeah.
1992. Possible, I don't know.
Look at this Gabe Lewis production.
This one, yeah, it kind of looks like the Warner Bros. Can we give us say it again? Scroll
Alvin
back
and
up
the
some.
Chipmunks.
Yeah, 1958, or it says, oh yeah, 1958 to the present.
NBC.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Purple and blue, purple and white and green and red and red and blue
The following program is brought to you in living color on
How
NBC.
do you like that guy?
Dude, that looks more like a frickin' NBC.
The Fireman Sam. That looks
Oh,
like
BBC One.
That looks like BBC One.
Oh, THX.
THX.
THX. Look at this. This is parody of Canal Productions.
Itchy and Scratchy Productions.
Look at this.
Dude, I would possibly believing it's an actual logo.
PBS,
This is PBS.
the Public Broadcasting Service.
There's another version. And there's another version.
Nice. Should have zoomed in. Oh,
The Simpsons has a. Oh wait, this is one. Oh wait, this one. Vinny Bona. Vinny Bona.
oh, I recognize that logo.
Tiny Toon Production.
Oh no, Warner Bros.
Got two Warner Bros. Yeah, we're getting through to the cartoons.
Nick International Pictures
But-
logo. It's a parody. Yeah, I know. It says Iran Hoyt Production. I don't know. Look. Look at
PBS,
this. Look.
PBS.
Baloney and Kids is brought to you by this station and other stations that lack clever programming.
I
Kind of like that voice.
like
PBS,
that. Funny.
This is PBS.
NBC, Paramount.
Paramount.
Yeah. Also, look at this. Look at
Oh.
this.
BBC One.
Coming up next on the Cartoon Network, the Ghost Planet will explode.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh.
That's stock. But I didn't even notice that Cartoon Network used that. Wow.
Columbia.
From
Hey,
the
South Park.
cow and chicken.
Bun venit la reprezentația Cartoon Network.
It's actually called Toon Film. I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
wait, South
South
Park.
Park.
South Park.
This is HBC.
HBC.
HBO.
Oh yeah, the son to rip off HBO like that.
Yeah. And this is
Channel 4.
You're watching Channel 4.
NGM.
Family Guy. Warning.
Yeah, with that one pair. Oh,
B-word in it.
I want to stick my head through a circle at the beginning of movies and roar.
yeah.
That's what you did.
What's up now?
Okay.
At
That's
least you
Wow.
got out the word.
TriStar. Is that TriStar?
CBS.
That looks like TriStar
Oh,
Pictures from
CBS.
1984.
Here my logo.
This is CBS Asian Town Productions.
You're watching CBS. Asian Town.
You're watching CBS.
This one's another
MTM.
another
MTM.
Canal Productions
It's
logo.
Yeah.
Another one of these one parodies.
MTM. MTM.
Oh,
CBS.
wait, this one. Yeah, it's this one. It's this
This
one.
is PBS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bitch.
Ryan.
I'm just giving out one of the parodies.
Let's get this
Orion.
one.
Take that, Orion. That's right. All you are is a failed production company.
Speaking
right.
of
All
speaking
you
of
are is a
failed company,
production
it is
company.
it
Yeah, I
it
like
just
this
came
logo.
back and
I
it
like
was
this
now
logo.
owned by MGM. Think again.
Wait, is that parody where he has to watch through all these logos? And none of these logos are real.
Yeah. That's right.
We're not going
Futurama.
through all of them.
This is Futurama. And this is Mission Hill.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC, which I sold on the top.
DreamWorks? Is that DreamWorks?
I promise this one thing will not show up again. It said Sheldon, but it zooms in.
To continue, only you can bring honor
Nah, bro.
The Sheldon logo just zooms
and dignity
Nah, bro.
Yeah.
back to the plate again.
Nah, bro.
Angry.
For years, it has been my goal to acquire the secret formula for
Nah, bro.
That's enough, bro.
Oh my god.
Nah, bro.
Nickelodeon?
Inventor Sim. Inventor Sim.
I know.
Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron.
Nah, bro.
Lights, camera, danger.
MGM.
Your dog.
Could I get that episode or?
CBS.
We're not going through all of them. It's just logos and TV shows or movies.
Yes, Peppa Pig. I hate Peppa Pig myself.
Oh, that, yeah.
Rabbit's Day Off. The
Anyone don't mind about that.
Can we see
But,
on credit card?
But speaking
Yeah,
about that, I used to remember that show when I was little.
Wait,
Huh.
what?
That's my childhood show.
Is this like a?
Shit or bullshit?
Since 2015,
Bullshit.
possibly.
Okay, since it's a.
Now, shit or bullshit?
Bad dog.
Obo Production.
The screen share is
Shit or bullshit?
frozen.
Book dog. Shit or bullshit? Book dog.
Yeah,
Oh.
good dog.
Oh yeah, UBU Productions. Oh, never mind.
Cartoon Network.
Shorter one.
Oh,
Tries to
Chowder.
reference the Cartoon Network screen bug.
Wow, wow, Wubsy. Meet the was
Chowder.
places the stars that are circle around Switched in the style of the pyramid.
Oh.
Damn.
Sorry, there's no
The
footage
face.
of that thing.
Damn.
It's from Meet the Wuzzles.
Here's the proof.
Sorry, there's no.
Oh
footage.
yeah. Oh yeah. We don't want to be copyrighted by Stars Media, so
I don't want to get copyrighted.
anyone.
Wait. Meet the Wuzzles.
I met the wussies.
Anyways, I'm gonna back to the show.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't find it. What the? Pixar.
Wait, what was that? What's that?
I sold
What is that?
Pixar. I sold Pixar.
Back at the barnyard. Back at the barnyard. Look, back at the barnyard. Back at the barnyard. So, BYX.
BYX, also known as THX.
BYX.
It's
I like back at the
BYX.
barnyard.
No footage again.
Oh, mad.
Mad.
Yes, mad.
Nickelodeon. Pixar.
First of one and the second
Yeah,
one.
Pixar Animation.
Oh, second
Yeah.
card of the
Sidekick.
episode.
I was trying to find Meet the Wuzzles, but I don't know.
Trying to
if
reference
the,
T-Mobile Sidekick, possibly.
Yeah, I know.
Dude,
think
I
it's on a
remember that phone.
DVD
And I still have it.
All right. If you you guys want to see it, this is
What the
here's the
fuck?
My Android sucked in the system update. Or installing the system update. Dude, I like the fanfare on it. Sounds pretty nice.
I
More
know
like
I
the
like Sidekick. A lot.
Yeah, it's from that Sidekick show.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Barney home video. A.
Parody.
Bloody
one-
hell. Wait, Tina?
Secret Mounted Fort
Cartoon
Awesome.
Network.
Yeah, I hate that show.
MGM logo again.
The Robot
Oh no,
Monster
Secret Mountain.
of MGM, which is replaced by Marv.
Oh yeah, Steven Universe.
Hitmation.
Oh my god.
It's actually also known as Filmation.
Wait, what's that? What's that? Grant winners. In that episode, Bitscreen Badooz, the Paramount logo is parody when the rocket van flies around a cloud that looks like a mountain with golden red icons in place of the usual stars.
Yeah.
Clarence.
Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence.
Clarence.
Episode pilot expansion, the 2000
Shows the Cartoon Network Studios logo.
real case.
Yeah.
I know.
Food.
Oh, Bluey.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, I like Bluey.
Oh, dude, I like that show as well. BRM.
There is footage of it.
I recognize that too.
The Ghost and Molly McGee. A second.
Mickey Mouse.
The Referenta Cures 628.
Oh, way better for Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Look at me! Oh, you kidding me? It looks like it is.
I'm the passer.
Disney Sound.
Oh,
That's
God.
not.
Yes. The Cuphead show.
Bear Light Pictures.
Oh,
What?
I can see the intro.
Parody of Universal. Yeah.
Dude.
Kif.
Okay.
Oh, Kif.
Casey.
Kif.
Casey.
I like Kif.
Are we referencing Klasky Shupo? Okay. That's overrated.
Parody of Warner Brothers. It says Kif Chatterley Pictures.
Hey.
Not trying to reference the Klasky Shupo. Still overrated, but
Rock, paper, scissors.
Paramount.
Yeah.
My favorite show. Oh, parody. Paramount.
Of mounts. Paramount.
What would us?
I remember seeing a lot of spoofs in the Dragon Ball from 1980.
Alright, knockoff logo coming in. Here we go.
Thanks
Pikachu?
to everyone's help, I know preview.
Oh, where is this taken from? Pokemon oh no, it's gonna be Pikachu Water!
Ready? Action! Cats! Too scary.
Yikes! That logo scared me.
Shin-chan? Yeah.
We're just referencing something. Pixar. First we got 20th Century Vole into
Power.
that style. Now we got 20th Century Frog into that style as well.
Space Jam.
Universal and Fox Searchlight Pictures.
Oh.
CinemaScope. I saw it. Jumanji.
Disney Castle. Disney Castle. Disney Castle.
Would be
Yeah,
nice.
Adlin and I saw
Disney Castle. Disney Castle.
that too. The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC. What I just first saw.
Up.
The devil.
Up. Is that? Oh my
Holy
God.
shit!
Is that
Holy
Mark
shit!
Wow.
Fingers blown.
Mark 7. Mark 7 did with the
Thumbs
logo.
blown.
Did he hit his pinky finger?
Oh, I seen this variant. I seen this variant too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to...
Snoopy.
Ooh. Ooh.
What was that?
Wah.
Paramount.
We got the.
Paramount.
We saw Paramount.
I say Paramount.
We saw Paramount.
It's gonna be the audience's now get. Well, there is a footage
Oh,
of it.
Pixar.
My VHS tape.
That's the one from 1986.
You could play that one if you like.
And yeah,
I just don't even
I
care.
remake that one as well.
Really? In your
THX?
The Pixar logo from 1986. It is pretty close to the original.
Oh, this is Homer Simpson versus Tex. No, don't, no. Homer, what are you doing?
Don't ruin the. Why did you ruin?
Oh my God. Was this
Illuminate
in the
your
Simpsons
senses.
movie? Was this in the Simpsons movie or is it unreleased?
What? Oh, I remembered that clip right here.
I see that NBC.
Teen Titans Go in the movies. Well, first of all, it featured like the Marvel logo. Almost.
Whoa. The opening part kind of reminds me of Marvel Studios from 2002, and also that looks like a freaking Paramount Mountain.
Super Mario movie.
I know. Oh, it's referencing the other logos. Yeah, MTM Enterprises was like that a lot of times.
Fox.
Uses the 20th Century Fox and 20th Century Studio. Paramount.
Next time on Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater. Balto.
Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater.
Cartoon Network.
I've never heard of that one before.
Columbia.
Next time on Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
Only on
Parody of Columbia. It's also a
Again?
I'm on Cartoon.
And it's true like the Paramount
HBO Pictures.
logo. Well,
Yeah, HBO.
not
I seen it.
everything, but
Ready to see it?
ow.
We got a both mixture.
Wow, you are cute
We
card,
got a
isn't
both
it?
mixture.
What the heck?
Brr.
This is a parody of 20th Century Fox and Paramount.
It was from a food movie on YouTube.
I almost thought they would completely stole the fanfare for at first.
Yeah, Savage
But
Studios.
the drums in the beginning sounds exactly the same as the other ones.
Oh.
Novana.
Savage Studios.
Nebula.
Savage
Oh,
Studios.
Savage Studios Limited. Why?
yeah.
Why does that logo just like to reference it to something? The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC. Wait a
TV
minute.
Land.
You're not the NBC Peacock.
Yeah.
Dude, still in the Paramount Star. Dude, I've seen that a lot of times.
Look.
Same as this one.
I've seen this one.
Ready?
Yeah, but like
This has gone too far.
Yeah, I don't want like this one. Oh, someone's joining.
yeah, we're just looking at logos in
what they
Avid
see.
Wiki page.
No, that's yellow.
Someone
That's
put
yellow.
our
That's yellow.
description. Alright, I just get the. Oh, no, okay, I saw it. Great. Oh, the
Nickelodeon.
screen.
That's old.
Getting pretty close.
Where is it? Where is it? Hey, come on!
No.
Bro, what the? Oh, wait a second.
Hey, I'm Caleb.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Oh, it's this one. I found it. Oh no! Oh no! No! I accidentally pressed it. It's this one. Okay, let's play. Wait, here's this.
Phew! See you next time.
That logo scared me when I came back here. Oh, sorry.
It's the parody of Paramount.
Don't tell me it's going to be the DuckTales song parody again. Whoa! What was that? Turning UA. It said only T. Oh. Ah. Wait, they're all by the same animator. That's some other logos. What else? Okay, the Witcher William. The Pink Panther! CD. Well, that's not even a ripoff, it's a parody. What was that? Okay. Okay. I hope it's not those thing again. I hope it's not the DuckTales song parody. Not that. Different kind. Okay, that's good. Oh no, it's the TriStar Music Mix. It's Star Wars. Never mind, it's Star Wars. I'm afraid I'm gonna get copyrighted. This one too. Still, that's what I think. The third. Okay. I hope it's not the DuckTales song parody where it says here in old. You get the idea. I'm not saying the rest of those words. Okay, that's good. That's good. Bro. Digital entertainment. Alright, what's going on? Okay, I'm trying to finish the rest of my... Still, I could hear a little bit of it. Okay, but we're trying not to be like that. Bangladesh, Ruby. That's the reason why. I'm afraid there's going to be this one profile picture
Sa
again
ikadalawang
coming up
isang
in...
sityo ay
it's
narito
that.
na ngayon sa
C-133.
ABS-CBN na walang humpay na nagdinig sa
ABS-CBN.
sambayanang Pilipino.
I'm at... Okay. Crime movie classics. I don't know where that country is. Kitty. In all these films. Let me just worry.
Okay, let's go check Timothy Post. Timothy Post. Sorry, Caleb, because Brian photo tweet its turtle. There.
Wait, what?
Oh no. It's got Terminator.
Yikes. Well, at least it isn't the DuckTales song parody. Gotta finish the rest of my chicken nuggets. Oh man.
Sorry, Caleb, because Brian photo tweet its Terminator. Because the channel it's you move. Sorry, Caleb.
Yeah, because of violation.
Yeah.
Huh? What?
I have to go, so bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so sad.
Oh no. Well, at least it isn't the one profile picture.
Alright, BBC. BBC.
And welcome to the Ident Review, the show where we have a good look and chat about the various television idents that we have come to know and love over the years. And for this installment, following on from the Personality 2s last week, we now take a look at their successors, the Window on the World idents for BBC Two. After 6 years on television screens, BBC Two decided that the Personality 2s had done their job, and it was time for something fresh and new. Out with the bright yellow and the quirky numerals, in were beautiful landscapes and several attempts at embedding the iconic two within them. Now Pacino.
Looking through to Tastes of the Caribbean with Planet Food at 11:30, you're watching BBC Two with something new for the weekend.
Oh, that's satisfying.
A prime example of what kind of things this ident set succeeded at. So we see a coffee be seasoned into a two shape before we see the final product, which actually looks quite appealing. I'm not much of a coffee drinker, more tea, but if I was, this is the kind of pattern I would want sprinkled. I like as well that the drinker takes a spoon out of it. I don't know why, it just makes me chuckle a bit. But laughter aside, let's move on now to our next ident of the day, Mirror.
With now though, so from all of us here, good night.
This one is one of my favourite, Seascape.
Here on BBC Two, we're back in the morning, but now more pages from Ceefax.
So beautifully tranquil. There's no sight more soothing, I think. Their designs are so simple, but they work supremely well when played out. I almost wish this two rock face actually existed somewhere. Now wouldn't that be a tourist spot to behold? Next up, we have a much more messier ident, shall we say. This is Restaurant.
There's a new wave of glamorous granny on
Oh
the
my
scene, and
God.
she's in her 30s, Britain's youngest in an hour. Now on BBC Two, they've got a pig of a job on their plate.
Now who doesn't love a good food fight? Again, there isn't that much to this one, just a load of food being thrown over a two, but it's charming, it's quirky, and strangely still remains quite visually appealing to look at and view. Not much else to say on that one really, but it brings a smile to my face. But now next up we have a very questionably titled ident, The White Season.
What is the white season?
Now, 40 years since Enoch Powell's controversial anti-immigration speech, are his words finding new resonance? As part of The White Season, BBC Two examines the impact and legacy of Rivers of Blood. The programme contains some strong language.
I'm in a bit of conflict with this one. I love the style and look of this ident, the swirling blacks and whites, and the whirling around the little details on the final two form are really quite stunning. But I just can't get over that it's called The White Season, especially given this continuity announcer in particular discussing the controversial acts of Enoch Powell. If anyone in the comments can provide me some clarity as to why it's been dubbed The White Season, that would be fantastic, because that completely passed me by. But moving on from questionable titles, we go for a more futuristic sci-fi spin on things. So here is Zoetrope.
Oh yeah.
Honouring the past with a glimpse of the future. We see this futuristic city landscape with flying cars and all. It reminds me of the 1927 classic silent film Metropolis. But before we can see any more of the city, we zoom out to see the Zoetrope 2s whirling around. It's such a small detail, but I really like how this ident blends both past and future together really seamlessly. And in a way, a zoetrope is the perfect tool to use as a window on the world, as that was exactly their original purpose when they were first debuted more than over 100 years ago. And to finish off with, like last week, I thought we would delve into the wonderful world of Christmas idents. In the later years of this set, some idents of the past were recycled, but let's first have a look at what represented BBC Two at Christmas between 2007 and 2010.
Why is there a volcano in this ident? Oh, sorry. I mean, it has to be Christmas themed.
Play. I say play.
Okay.
Hey, Caleb. Caleb the walk. Yes.
Yeah? Okay, sorry for the brothers. Their brothers are playing.
A thrilling match between Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark the Shark Selby. UK Championship snooker continues here on BBC Two in 40 minutes. First, comedy, and a man well used to wardrobe malfunctions.
Charming and delightful. Just what you need at Christmas. So the main focus of these ident variants seems to be this little sprite, demon or whatever he is, that's causing havoc in this papercraft world. The sprite itself, with all the little noises he makes, actually kind of reminds me of Disney's Stitch character. And how brilliant would that have been if they actually worked together with Disney to incorporate their characters into their idents? Maybe possibly for a Disney season at Christmas? Ah, the land of impossible dreams, eh? And now finally, let's go out with a bang with the BBC Two Christmas ident from 2011 and 2012.
Okay.
From college dropout to Silicon Valley high flyer to global force, now on BBC Two and the BBC HD channel, the inspired business brain and infinite ambition of the billion-dollar hippie, the late Steve Jobs.
Hands down one of the best Christmas idents ever. There's just so much going on here and so much detail to take with every second as we descend down this tube, occupied by buildings, townspeople, and a beautiful final image. Seriously, that should be some sort of Christmas display or decoration itself, never mind just for the telly. Why this works so well, I think, is the sheer amount of detail that was placed into making it. It didn't have to be this in-depth, it didn't have to be this expensive, it didn't have to be this expansive, but the minds at BBC Two clearly cared about making an ident at Christmas that would last, stand out amongst what had come before and what was to come after. Truly one of their greatest efforts. And overall with Windows on the World, what's my closing thoughts? Well, as I've said multiple times, why I think they work and why I think people are fond of them. Hello, and welcome to the ident review. The show where we have a good look and chat about the various television idents that we've come to know and love over the years. And for this installment, we're keeping up to date as we take a look at BBC Two's new on-screen look with the Curve idents. Over the course of the last 27 years, BBC Two has been represented on screen by a central numeral 2, and over the years we've seen it in many scenarios, situations and styles. In fact, one group, the initial set no less, was so popular that after 6 years of Personality 2s and 7 years of Windows on the World, this first set was brought back into mainstream use for the channel. However, like all things, they must come to an end someday, and on the 27th of September 2018, this time would come for BBC Two's idents. Now, out was the main numeral millions have grown accustomed to, gone was the paint, the silk, and the firecrackers, and in their place, we have the new style, currently known as the Curve. Out was the main firecrackers, and in their place, we have the new style, currently known as the Curve.
Well, hey there. This is BBC Two, and we've got a cool, colourful new look. Iconic.
We have 16 variants to look at today. All of them are quite short in length, so we'll take a look at them in batches of 4. Also, none of them have specific names as of yet. Some people have come up with their own, but I haven't seen anything official from the BBC. But I'm still going to give my thoughts on each individual variant. Okay then, here is batch number 1.
It looks like... this is Taily Hall styled ident.
Now right off the bat, you can tell they've gone for something quite different with these idents. The first one feels nice and peaceful. The few chimes of music we get communicate quite a tranquil feeling to the audience. We see the two sides flip and rotate almost like a roller blind or sheets of paper, before settling back on its neutral image. And straight away you'll notice the curve, which draws its shape from the natural curve used to form the number 2. A much more subtle way of incorporating the channel's number into the identity without it being necessarily the main focus or too in your face. The second variant, in my view, echoes and expands upon the silk-based ident from the 1991 set. But this time, instead of a cyan colour, we have orange and purple, which I think are brilliant contrasts in terms of design. We see these two entities crash in and push against one another, but again, it's in a very tranquil and almost peaceful manner. It's certainly not going for a bombastic or aggressive approach so far. Next, we have one of the more trippier variants of the new set. Again though, the black and white stripes contrast really nicely with the other half's stark black background, and this time the camera almost zooms up, morphing the central curve briefly before it settles back into place, giving the illusion that this curve is potentially never-ending. I also like the music for this one. Again, it's more slow and laid back, but I feel it prompts an air of mystery, of a vintage style, almost early 20th century, and something quite quirky but with an air of class about it, if that even makes any lick of sense. And finally, in this first batch of 4, we have this strange little ident that incorporates a sort of 3D scope into it. At first it seems quite plain and uninteresting, but from the curve we see several curves start to appear and ripple, causing the cameras to pan and zoom across this whole structure before settling back to its original shape. The music accompanies this one brilliantly too. We hear the rising instruments just as the camera quickly pans over, and it is so short and sweet, but it still carries a lot of impact. So it's definitely not a bad start here with batch 1. Let's see what batch 2 has to offer.
What was that I did? Oh, yeah. Oh, it forms as I turn. My bad.
Well, at least these aren't all that boring to look at. The first variant of this batch echoes the more animalistic-based 2s that we've seen in the past. A furry material moves across the screen, with animal-like sounds in the background, and little drops that indicate footprints moving across the screen with it. Overall, though, I think this one has a bit of wasted potential behind it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for the sort of animal theme that it's going for, but it just feels very average and lackluster, and it doesn't really punctuate anything, when I feel in the same amount of time it could have endeavoured to be a bit more creative or even possibly a bit more comedic. Second in this batch, we have what I thought first was parts of the Death Star. In fact, it's not really clear what these structures even are, but nevertheless, the effect of one half rising whilst the other falls still works pretty well, and the structures are detailed just enough for them to be interesting for the eye to catch. I think if they lacked different levels or if it was just one stark grey colour, it wouldn't work nearly as well as it does. Now, next up, we have probably one of the most gorgeously coloured idents from this set. I love the reds and purples incorporated here and the little glimmer of gold from the curve when it takes the final shape. It also structurally reminds me of many things, including DNA strands, strings of an instrument, parts of a flower, and by the end when the curve arrives, a small passage into some other world. It may not be the most obvious in terms of what it wants to show or to be, but I think that's what works in its favour. that it is so flexible and interpretable to audiences. The music is brilliant here once more, and including the little sting when the curve emanates its light. Definitely a favourite from this batch and the set overall. And finally from batch 2, we have one that is definitely inspired from the art of papercraft. The colours have been wonderfully selected once again, and as we hear the shuffling and crinkling of different bits of paper, we're treated to a lovely spiral effect, one that flows so smoothly, but yet still manages to give off a very stop-motion animation feel to it. It's quirky, it's colourful, and it's a definite treat for the eyes with this one. So I was a bit more critical on some of these from batch 2, and I loved some of them also. So let's crack onwards to batch 3 and see what's in store there.
It's all over myself. Yeah, we know that. You don't have to tell us again.
Now you have to admit, these are some of the most colourful idents on terrestrial television. So the first one of the batch feels quite weird to me. Don't get me wrong, I like the design and how it sort of changes texture halfway through, but I'm trying to figure out what it's based on, or indeed what it's meant to be. At first it made me think of a changing chameleon's skin. That's what the sound effect reminded me of anyway. But overall, I'm not too sure, so for me, it'll remain an oddity. Second up from this batch, we have the ident that has been used most as the poster child for this new set, and I believe it was the first of the set to be debuted on air. Now at first they made me think of a sea of pebbles, but when they separate and change colour, the sound that accompany it reminds me more of balloons, that sort of squeaky sound. But either way, the two base colours, like the ones used for the silk variant, are gorgeous to look at. They wouldn't have been my first choice of clashing colours, but once more, when combined with the soundtrack and overall structure of the ident, it works incredibly well. And it wouldn't surprise me if this variant in particular will go on to be the most remembered from this set, just as paint has been for the 1991 set for nearly 3 decades. Next one up is truly, in my view, one of, if not the most beautiful ident here in terms of visual design. On either side, we see what look like the individual tendrils of an anemone, lovingly captured in black and white, which is another nice contrast from all the rampant and loud colours we've seen over many of these variants. It's another one that makes the viewer feel peaceful, but also engrossed and engaged with what they're seeing, just because it's such a delight to look at. The light of the curve once again shines through the centre too. And finally for batch 3, we continue with the seascape theme, as we see the surfaces of what I interpret as either being part of the seabed or the surface of a sea creature. I'm not a fan of the slightly grating sound effect that's constantly playing in the background of this one, but once more, the colours of this, of blue and green, work really well with one another. There's more variety in batch 3, so now let's move on to the last bunch. Here is batch 4.
What's batch 4, by the way?
You getting sick of these yet? Because I'm not. Anyhow, firstly we have this variant, which I think for me is the most drab and boring of the bunch. It's just a simple landscape that has some nice movement to it, but honestly, it's one of the most dull.
Shampoo yang menjadikan rambut lebih gelap dalam 2 hingga...
Is that blood? Myself,
L'Eau de Parfum, and the new Le Parfum.
I'm sorry, but I don't speak that sort of language. Oh no!
For a 14-year period, so of course people will be sad to see them go. But I think the new entire set. Now, there are 2 more idents that would round out this set, but at the time of recording this, I can't find video footage of them to show, so sadly, you'll just have to look at these pictures that were sourced from online. I mean, with the speed of the internet these days, I'm sure these will make their way to YouTube and other places in no time, but sadly, as of making this, just less than a week of these idents coming out, you aren't going to see any footage here of the last 2, sadly. But they do look very interesting indeed.
and welcome to the Ident Review, the show where we have a good look and chat about the various television idents that we have come to know and love over the years. And for this instalment, we take our very first journey across the pond to the USA and a look at one of the most recognizable and iconic channels of all time, MTV. MTV was first launched in the US in 1981, before eventually making its way to the UK in 1997. Its initial prime focus was to show the latest and greatest music videos from a wide range of artists, as the format itself was just beginning and evolving at an alarming pace. But for a channel that was energetic, outgoing, and most importantly, popular with many demographics, what kind of idents could MTV possibly come up with to hook viewers' interest? Well, we're about to find out, as we take a look at a selection of idents between 19... Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review, the show where we have a good look and chat about the various television idents that we have come to know and love over the years. And for this instalment, we take a look at some of the most recent idents seen on BBC Two.
Okay.
In September of 2018, we were graced with a brand new ident set for BBC Two. Gone were the familiar two numerals that had been part of us since the early 90s, and in their place were these new, very artsy-looking curves that sort of resemble the number 2, all adorned with quirky and unique set pieces. We have already dedicated an episode of the Ident Review to what I call the first batch of these curve idents, which you should definitely check out if you haven't seen it yet. But since then, there's been a few new variants shown on BBC Two, and I felt the time was only right to have a look at them. But just before we get into it, in regards to variant titles, I'm just going to give my own names for some of them, just based off how I perceive them. And if you don't like that idea, well, I'm afraid that's just tough. That being said, let's get things rolling with our first ident of the day, layers.
It's do or die in Franklin's world, and time to step things up a gear in Snowfall at 10:45. First, with some strong language, we go all PC with Sandy.
A nice soothing sequence to kick things off today. This is one aspect I've always thought that the curve idents do well, taking extremely simple concepts or ideas and playing them out in a colourful, beautiful and relaxing manner. Because when you break this one down, it's just a never-ending tear through layers of material, but the execution of it, the detail as the material ripples aside, and the striking full colours, make this super appealing to the eye. Maybe one that not everyone's going to instantly remember, but certainly not a wasted effort either. Let's move on now to our next featured ident of the day, and that ident we shall call Googly.
Good morning, welcome to the weekend. It's Dean here, taking you through Saturday with CBBC on BBC Two, and let's get you thinking first today with Susan Cowman.
Okay, is anyone getting early 2000s CBBC vibes from this one? I know it was probably designed to be used to introduce CBBC segments on BBC Two, but this really seems like a reimagining or upscaling of the CBBC blob idents used in the early 2000s. If that's the case, I'm sure it does its job in getting children's attention for the few seconds that it needs. It's bright and colourful, the googly eyes are charming, and I'm sure for those a little older like me, the urge to remember and compare it to the blobs of old would be extremely hard to resist. Not much else to say, but if this was sort of done as a low-key, intentional callback to idents of the past, then big props to the BBC Two design team. Now then, pushing forward, let's have a look at what we have next, and we have Snake.
That's not a snake, that's a treasure box!
When a family man kills an intruder in his home, he's racked with guilt, but his nightmare is far from over. Expect some violent scenes, strong language, and scenes which you may find disturbing, as Michael C. Hall and Don Johnson star It's cold in July.
I was debating what to call this one for absolutely ages. I've settled on Snake due to the way this material moves and also some very prominent hissing sounds when it rapidly moves or changes shape. The colours on the material itself also remind me at least somewhat of snakeskin, but I could have just easily called this something like Symbiote, which honestly was my initial thought as the black slithering material reminded me all too much of Venom. Well, as Venom is produced by some snakes, that can be our tie-in. Anyway, I found this one very strange just to watch. Yes, it gives me illusions of a snake, but it's really not clear in what it wants to be. I feel that it wants to go for a more sinister sort of vibe with the ominous music and sound effects, and perhaps it would be used to introduce programs of a similar dark tone. But again, this is all left up to speculation. So sadly so far, this is probably the weakest of the new variants, just because it feels and comes across as very unguided and unfocused. Let's see if our next ident can do any better, and it shall be titled Absorbing.
So a storm is gathering. Snuggle up with us for our brand new brooding drama, Jamie Dornan and Anne Skelly in Death and Nightingales in an Hour. Pulling off a perfect pineapple pudding first on BBC Two, things are about to get sticky.
I like the concept, but this is one where I wish there was just a little bit more thrown in. Now don't get me wrong, the colours used in this, the motion of it all, I think it's fantastic. Again, giving across that really soothing and relaxing feeling that a lot of the curve idents pull off brilliantly. But while some of the most simple variants in this manner work really well, I do want BBC Two to take some of these idents and give them some sort of extra kick, just to make them that little bit more eye-grabbing and interesting for viewers. I'm not saying I have the answers for this one, but even if it was such a small change like the colours alternating or new patterns being formed, just something to help it stand out from the public even more. Now then, for our final ident today, let's get a bit more global as we take a look at Discovery.
In a landmark new series now on BBC Two, Professor Brian Cox shines a light on the strange history of our solar system, the spellbinding story of the planets.
This one, oddly enough, feels slightly epic. I'm not sure why that is, but there's just something about the idea of swooping around the planet, taking a look at vastly different elements and environments that just feels very grand in scale. I also really love the sort of muted colours and intricate detail we see in the ident. Not many of the others go for that sort of washed out colour, and normally I myself am in favour of fuller, brighter colour in idents. However, for this one, again, it strangely all comes together and works. I could definitely see them using this ident if they were airing any of the David Attenborough programmes like Planet Earth or Blue Planet. For me, it's not the most standout sequence of the set or anything, but it still looks stunning.
Yeah. Sony idents.
April of 2011, Sony launched its first television channel under its own name and branding within the UK, a channel that would be known as Sony Entertainment Television, taking many iconic TV shows and movie properties that were tied to the Sony brand. It seemed like a good idea in concept. So with a brand new channel by one of the world's largest companies, let's see if their accompanying idents can pack a punch. So we will start with the variants that debuted with the channel in 2011. Here is the first of these, Bubbles. Well, that was a very glamorous way to start things off. This is a truly stunning HD sequence to watch. The bubble motif is an excellent concept to truly show off the quality of this ident too. It's not complex whatsoever, as we just watch these bubbles move across the screen, but every other element works in its favour. They calmly float around against a lovely dark blue background, which just gives you a feeling of relaxation, of peace. I would be more than happy to watch an extended sequence of this, some sort of mindfulness clip. Finally, we settle on the logo of the channel, which is okay as channel logos go, but I would argue just having an S above your name is a little lackluster, especially when coming from someone like Sony. Anyhow, let's move on to the next ident of the 2011 set, Diamonds. These idents are so appealing to watch. At first you'd be understood for being confused as to why this is called diamonds. However, after we see the liquid spill over the glass, we see the beautifully designed diamonds form and float past on our screens. I even like the beginning of the sequence, with the liquid filling a glass. Like the bubbles, it's another wonderfully calming and relaxing act to watch, and to see it gradually overflow and form the diamonds is a truly peaceful experience. Again, I would be all for a much more extended version of this whole ident. I think I like the bubbles variant slightly more, but I think that's just because I prefer the blue hues as opposed to the red and pink. I'm sure you'll have your preference of the two. Moving on now, let's take a look at our next ident of the day, Mask. A brilliant start, but an underwhelming payoff. I love how this begins, with the eyes of the mask opening and it spurring off into a series of beautifully animated butterflies. The colour scheme of the ident is arguably even better than the previous two in my opinion, but I find the rest of the sequence lacks the intrigue that the first few seconds hold. I love the mystery, the whole impression the mask gives off, and whilst it breaking into butterflies is a joy to view, to just then have them fly about, it feels a little underwhelming. I would have wanted the butterflies to all come together once again to form something new, whether that be a new mask of a different colour scheme or a new shape entirely. So not entirely a winner for me, but still a sequence that is wondrous to view. Now we shall move on to our final ident of the 2011 set, and that is Dandelion. Okay, this is probably the weakest of the set for me. Like the previous three, the sequence is lovely to view as a visual. I love the way the dandelions have been animated, the way they blow off into the wind, and the surprise of the umbrellas popping up. However, in a way like how the mask variant felt a little lacking, this one for me fails to pack even a punch. Blowing dandelions away is obviously what we all think of, and I just think something could have been added or twisted to at least make it different in some ways, shape or form. Also, why do they transform into umbrellas? I guess umbrellas are associated with sunny weather at the beach, or just sun umbrellas for really hot summer weather, but for me at least, they just pop out of nowhere and feel a little out of place. So with that, 2011 is now done and dusted. Next up, we have two idents that were introduced in 2013 to help represent the channel. So let's take a look at what Sony dreamed up with the first of these idents, Handbag. I have quite the mixed feelings on this one. So on one hand, I like the playfulness of how this sequence presents itself, how all of the items of the handbag bounce around to then sort of fall into the outline of the main logo. It's neat and it's charming. However, I can't help but argue that even more with these items could have been done before the logo reveal. Even if they all interact with each other, if they connected or linked in some way, just something to make it even more memorable for audiences. Also, the way it forms the outline of the logo, yeah, it works okay, but it feels a little wonky and a little forced. The way they all fall into perfect place doesn't feel natural, it feels very crunched together. So not perfect, but not terrible either. Now though, we'll take a look at the second variant that was issued in 2013, and that is titled Toys.
Sony! Oh! Oh yeah.
Now this is exactly what I was talking about. The way I said I wish the items from the handbag all connected or joined together, that's exactly what happens here, and it's glorious. The way the track forms for the cars, the way they deck things out to look like a classic drive-in cinema, even down to the Etch-a-Sketch saying, now showing like an old cinema billboard, it's just packed with so much charm and oodles of creativity. Obviously anyone would make comparisons between this and Toy Story, because let's face it, anything now, whether whether it be a movie, a TV show, or even an ident like this that features sentient toys, is going to be compared to the Pixar Master franchise. I don't think it rips anything off, and as I said, the way it's been set up is really clever and has a nice payoff, even if the logo just appears this time and isn't even foreshadowed like before. Again, it's not necessarily perfect, but it's definitely the better of the two from 2013, and is probably my favourite one so far that we've looked at today. Now for our final era today, we're going to jump forward to 2016. The central sequence of these next few variants is virtually the same, so what we will do is I'll play a variant, give some very quick thoughts, and then move on to the next one. So with that said, here is the first of these that was introduced in 2016.
Now on Sony Channel, it's Celebrity Ghost Stories. The following programme contains flashing images and is for entertainment purposes only.
Nice enough, but bland. I mean, I like the concept of the flipping solar panel type things that have different colours either side, as it does make a really nice colour effect when in motion. But it just happens and that's it? No peaceful stylization of the 2011 set, no colourful animations of the 2013 set, just a nice looking sequence with no real style or substance. It may have some fans out there, but to me it just seems like a step backwards. Let's now dive into variant 2, shall we?
Now on Sony Channel, it's Celebrity Ghost Stories. The following programme contains flashing images and is for entertainment purposes only.
Oh.
You see what I mean when I say they're the same? So this is literally the same sequence. Same annotations, same colours, same everything, but the only thing that's different is the background colour. There's not much more to add to that really. I mean, it's still bland, it's still uninspired, and still lacking anything that will make it truly memorable and impactful for viewers. Is variant 3 any better? Well, let's take a look.
It's still the same, but
Now on
with
Sony
colours.
Channel, a 40-year-old mother gets a makeover in a bid to re-enter the workforce as a 20-something, starring Sutton Foster and Hilary Duff. It's Younger.
Colour palette swaps in this case, that just shows off laziness. Once more, exactly the same animations, the same camera shots, but now we've swapped out blue for a yellowy gold colour. Great. I mean, yeah, it looks nice, as did the blue, but that is really all there is to say. We're getting near the end of this, so let's take a look at variant 4.
Let me guess. The same thing, but with a different color.
Now on Sony Channel, a 40-year-old mother gets a makeover in a bid to re-enter the workforce as a 20-something, starring Sutton Foster and Hilary Duff. It's Younger.
Hey, watch out now guys, we've got ourselves a mashup. As if merely changing one of the primary colours wasn't lazy enough, now they decided to have them alternate against the silver background. Like, wow, how ingenious, Sony. Truly a massive creative step forward there. Just like the steps forward you took with Spider-Man 3 and the amazing Spider-Man 2, but you did make it up with Spider-Verse, so I'll forgive you just this once. But these 4 variants honestly fit when you consider that they were first aired in 2016. They're bland, sad, and hopeless, just like most of 2016 was. But don't worry, we aren't going to leave things on a downer note, as we are going to get festive early by having a look at some Christmas variants on the Sony Channel, starting off with an ident that was used for both Christmas 2011 and 2012.
Now on Sony, a destiny dilemma for Marissa Tomei as she stars alongside Robert Downey Jr. in the wonderful rom-com Only You.
A nice simple Christmas ident here. They go for red and blue instead of a more festive red and green. But jokes aside, this one may be simple, but it's charming and does get across that festive feeling. All the key iconography is here. Presents, globes, and baubles, they're all key visual elements that many of the best Christmas idents use for their game. Not much more to say on this one. It's not the greatest Christmas ident ever, but it's far from being the worst. Now, I can't find a clip for Christmas 2013, so let's take a look at Sony's festive effort for Christmas 2014.
Yeah.
Now on Sony, the team uncovers some of the world's most legendary haunted locations in Ghost Hunters International. The following programme contains flashing images and is for entertainment purposes only.
I'm sorry, what?
This one Just a reminder before today's programme that if you've missed it, you can check out the previous instalment of the ident review, our 70th episode, where we took a look at Channel 4's Jolly Giant. And also be sure to check out the ident review Extra, the spin-off show where we're currently marathoning through the BBC Two idents of the 1990s, and our most recent instalment covering Wet and Windy. And now, here on AMTV, it's Friday, so it's time for the latest episode of the ident review. And continuing with the Channel 4 theme, we go over to E4 in the year 2007.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be able to say to you, welcome to Channel 4.
Hello, and welcome to the ident review, the show where we have a good look and chat about the various television idents that we have come to know and love over the years. And for this instalment, we go to the mid to late 2000s to take a look at some suitably creative idents from E4. Here on the ident review, we visited E4 a couple of times, and each time we do, you guys seem to really enjoy what the channel has to offer. We've looked at some of their most recent efforts, as well as earlier sequences from the beginning of the 2000s. So this time, let's go smack bang in the middle and have a look at some idents that debuted back in 2007. And for our first ident of the day, we shall be looking at Barn.
Channel 4's new home-cooked sitcom, Friday Night Dinner, which has been...
Oh, yeah. What
I
happened?
have to end the stream.
Oh, yeah. I'll go.